God. Ask God.
G'day Scott, Peter here from Australia, smashing through your podcast. They're really great stuff. I've implemented your email series and I'm getting a lot of seller feedback now. My question is, should I be asking for seller feedback or product feedback? Just want to make sure which one's more important. I've got an excellent seller feedback score, but not as many product reviews. Keep up the awesome work. My sales are up 400% in the last 3 months since listening to your podcast. Really appreciate the great stuff.
Hey, Peter, thank you so much for the question. And again, thank you for the accent. Love it. I love it. And I love it that you're smashing through the episodes. You guys have heard me in the past when I get, the listeners, sending their message through and they're like, I'm smashing through, I'm gobbling it up. I love that. Okay. Just shows that you guys are taking action and you're consuming. Now, the other thing I want to say, Peter, is that it sounds like you're consuming, but then you're also applying, because 400% up since listening to the podcast, that's like crazy. And that is awesome. And I want you to email me and let me know a little bit more details on that. Maybe we can get you on the show and we can talk about that, because that's pretty amazing. So anyway, let's go ahead and answer your question. What I would like to say is this. Feedback, okay, and people that are brand new, feedback is really on your overall account, right? So does that help your product listing? Yes and no, okay? And I feel, and again, this is just my speculation. This doesn't mean that I have any hard proof or evidence of this, okay? Other than it makes a lot of sense to me, okay? Because Amazon treats our seller's account as our overall kind of like authority, like how well we are doing as far as being a seller and all of that stuff. So will they help us, rank a little bit better or take care of us a little bit more if we are more seasoned? I think they will. It's kind of like a website that is 2 days old and a website that is 5 years old. Google gives that 5-year-old website a little bit more love, or that domain name, right? So I feel that, yes, it is important. But once you get to a certain point, I don't necessarily think you have to go and grab all the seller feedback before you grab the reviews. Now, the reason why I've talked about this in the past is about why I go and get the feedback first and then I go get the review, is because I want to make sure that I can filter that stuff. Okay. Now I might only do this, and I'm changing it up a little bit as we speak, because once you kind of filter through, and what I mean by filter through is if you get a negative feedback, okay, and that in that feedback, they leave you like a negative review in a sense. They talk about the product. Amazon will allow you to remove that feedback because it's product related. They don't want any product reviews on the feedback, so you can notify them. And I've talked about that in the past. Okay. Now, does that mean that's always going to be the case? No, but right now, from the time that I'm recording this, it does work. So I still do that. But once you figure out that your product is going to be well received and you're not receiving these, negative reviews or product reviews, and you feel more confident, then yes, you can go after the reviews. And it sounds like that might be where you're at. So then, because when you do kind of intercept, the feedback first, or you ask for the feedback first, then you ask for the review, you are going to lose out on some reviews because not everyone's going to do the feedback and then do a review. So if you can cut out the feedback and just go directly for a review, you are going to increase your reviews. But you have to do that with caution, because if you're brand new and you're doing that and you start to go through that, that sequence, well, what can happen then is you can start getting a large pile of negative reviews on that listing, and those are not going to be removed, okay? Unless that, that buyer goes in there and does it for you. So it sounds like in your situation, or anyone that is listening in this situation, if you already have a pretty well-established seller feedback score, then you might want to just start going for the reviews, especially if your product has already been kind of like verified that people are accepting it well. Because the thing is, you may launch a product and not realize that there's certain things that you need to fix until after you get it into the people's hands, right? And if we can intercept that seller feedback and not have that go on our review, that would be great, right? And again, we're not doing this to really game the system. We're doing it so we can filter it so it doesn't hurt us, but then we can also learn from it. Okay. Now, I did a whole episode back on, let me see here. I think it was episode 77. Let me see here. Yes, it was episode 77. And that one there, we talked all about feedback and reviews. And I talked to Chris Guthrie, who he actually did it a little bit different in the beginning. He went after the reviews really hard, and then he switched it around once he had some reviews, and then he went after feedback and reviews. That was his strategy. And we talk all about it on that episode. So if you guys are interested in listening to that, go back and listen to episode 77. The link will be theamazingseller.com/77, or you can just go to the show notes to this episode, which this episode is episode 187. So the show notes to this episode will be, theamazingseller.com/187. I got to think here. So that is the episode that we're on currently right now. That is the Ask Scott session number 54. So 187. You can find all the show notes, and that link will be there for that episode as well. All right. So that's what I would do, Peter. And it sounds like you're doing very, very well. So again, like I said, I would love to hear more about your story, and possibly we can share it with the TAS listeners out there. And I think that everyone right here is like, yeah, they're raising their hand like, yeah, we'd love to hear your story. If you guys want to submit a question, head over to theamazingseller.com/ask, and you can do that. I want to also, again, remind you guys, if you're brand new and this is your first time to the show, I want to welcome you. I love hanging out with you guys. This is just awesome to be able to virtually connect like this, and that's why I love the Ask Scott sessions. But if you are brand new and you're just getting your feet wet and you don't understand the entire process, the entire business model, I would recommend attending one of my live free workshops. This is where I break it down for you in 5 phases: how to pick a market and a product, how to source it, how to do a pre-launch, how to do a launch, how to promote the product, and everything in between. We go over that on a workshop, and we go through every single thing. We also do live Q&A. So if you want to attend one of them, I would love to invite you to the next one, and you can register for the next one by heading over to theamazingseller.com/workshop, and you can register there for an upcoming workshop. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com, and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session, and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business, so definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there, and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business, and this way here you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.